Very good evening, everyone. This is Emmanuel from Softlandings UK, the UK property show. Thank you all for joining. Um, we're back here again. We do this every Sunday evening. Take your questions, any sort of information you need about moving across, property guidance, any way we can sort of help. We're also broadcasting live on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So if you have a comment, please feel free to drop the comment, ask us a question. That's exactly what we're here for. So thank you all for joining. And for those of us who have been here before, you kind of know how this goes. You put out your questions, we're happy to answer. We go over the sort of things you should expect when you get over here newly. Any sort of guidance, that sort of thing. Okay, so we're just going to start kind of quickly this evening. The first thing I want to touch on is proof of income for renting. So yes, a lot of times when we're new in the country, you would need to prove your income to get a house. This is the biggest single issue facing students who are just arriving. If you're coming on a skilled worker visa, then that is not as big a deal because you have proof of a job you're coming straight into. However, when you're coming as a student, this is normally a really big issue, and it's the biggest reason for delays to housing, where people have issue getting into housing. We've all seen horror stories of people sitting at the train station, nowhere to go once they've landed, these sort of unfortunate situations. And that's exactly what we're here to help people avoid. Make sure you have things in place, something planned out. Yes. So now for proof of income, your proof of funds which you have used for your visa is not valid. Unfortunately, we get that question quite a lot. If you could use your proof of funds, and that's not one that is normally accepted. So if you are here and you're not yet working or you're on the way, the only way to prove your income more or less is to pay your rent in advance. Now, I have a lot of people who take issue with that and say, oh, I don't have 6 months of rent to pay. I don't have 3 months of rent to pay. That sort of thing. So, which is quite understandable. It is a lot of cash. But if you don't have up to 3 months at the very minimum, you won't see any landlord that will take you seriously. Also, I get people saying, oh, what if I pay 1 month and then before the next month I try and sort something out? UK is a country where they operate on proof, what they can see. It's not about what you can promise or say, oh, I hope I'll get a job in so and so time. Basically, nobody will take your word for it. So you need to have, it's really important. I mean, I think I've been doing these shows for quite a few weeks now, and we're telling people all the same things. I get people who come to me in December, we've explained the process to them. They don't really believe what we're saying. And then they come here and they find out for themselves. Now, the part of finding out for yourself is not a pleasant experience because you will be stuck in a hotel or in an Airbnb for a very long period of time trying to get something sorted out, and then you are under pressure, immense pressure, So it's really important. If you're coming in September, if you're coming in May, we have people messaging us now, which is really good, and that's the conversation we want to get started. We want you ready for this experience and for this journey. So please, if you have any questions, kindly feel free to put them across. I know most of you are on Instagram. Unfortunately, I can't see all of your messages on Instagram. So if you have a message on Insta, please make sure you go into the question section or send it again, please, if I have missed it. And I will try my best to take all questions. Yeah, I can't see any at the moment. Yeah, you could kindly put them in the comments. The easiest way to send me a question is on YouTube. We're broadcasting live on YouTube, on Facebook. Any of those, Instagram doesn't give us a lot of options, unfortunately. But yes, that's about proof of income. So please, if you are planning to come, if you're not yet here, make sure you have at the very minimum 4 months of rent for your intended place. It's also really important to be realistic about what you want to pay for rent. You know, I know it's quite difficult when you've just come, but that should be, you know, if you're at the stage of planning your visa, if you're at the stage of you've not yet applied, let these be funds that you will have access to. Don't just think, oh, when I get there, I'll sort it out. It will leave you, unless you have family members to stay with, it will get you in a very tough situation. So definitely, please, 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 4 months of rent is the very, very minimum you should be coming with. Look in the area where you're looking for and make sure you have done some research on how much it costs. If not, you can ask us. Good evening, Essential Collection on Instagram. If you sent me a message before Essential Collection, please send it again. That's the first one I can see at the moment. And you're asking for a 2-bed in Aylesbury. So we'll definitely check that out for you. So Aylesbury is not a very highly congested area. So that's one where you should be, you know, it's the, you know, I was looking for someone for a 1-bedroom there last week. So 1-bedrooms are in short supplies, but if you are in for a 2-bedroom, hopefully that's not one where it's too bad. So yeah, you should be looking at anything between £1,500 or between 1,200 to 1,500. At the lower end of the market, yes, that's sort of where you will land. The minimum I'm seeing is 1,200. So that's for Essential Collection. So I hope you got that. So I have spoken about advance rent, and just to expatiate on that a bit more, the reason they need you. I had someone last week message me and said, "Oh, I run a very good business in Nigeria. I've got money, I can pay, but I only want to pay 1 month now and 1 month deposit," which is what you see on the websites when you go and browse. This is what the websites ask for people who live here. Now, as a landlord, I am a landlord here as well, and I rent to people. My question to you will be, if you pay me 30 days now, and what happens in 30 days time if you can't make up the rent? So this is what we mean. You need to make sure you're putting that bid together very well. You also have to remember there's a lot of competition for houses here. There's a lot of people looking for houses at the moment. So if you don't stand out of the crowd, you will just keep going for viewings and viewings and viewings, and nobody's getting back to you because your bid is so low on the list that, you know, they can't even take it seriously. So I got Baby Gifty. Good evening. Thanks for joining on Insta. You want to know how much is a 3-bed in Manchester, and can a family of 3 live in a room? So I'll answer your first question first. A family of 3 cannot live in a room. I mean, if you mean a 1-bedroom flat, yes, you can squeeze in a 1-bedroom flat. But if you mean a shared room in a shared apartment, then that's a definite no-no. 3 bedrooms in Manchester, you're looking somewhere between 1,500 to about 1,800 per month. So that's how you need to do that. Amazing Duff, you say, thank you for joining. How do we prove our income if our money is in Naira? How do you prove your income if your money is in Naira? Now, having very few estate agents will actually accept a Naira proof of account. So anything in terms of Naira, it will be very little who take that. So close to London, okay. Yeah. So it will be very few estate agents that actually accept that. You will need to get those funds here. And that's going to touch on another issue that I wanted to talk about this evening. A lot of you, when you come over, you tend to change your money into pounds, into dollars, and you're coming over with a big amount of cash in your hand. You may be looking at other channels where people are saying, open a Revolut account, open some kinds of accounts when you arrive here. Not every account, all those online banks where you can pay cash into. There's very few. Monzo is one of the ones that takes cash. You can pay in the post office, but you are limited to paying in 300 a day, and you can only pay in up to £1,000. So it's a wiser decision if you start thinking of changing your money Either leaving it in Naira. When you get here, change it, get in touch with us. We do foreign exchange. There's other companies that do foreign exchange. And then when you are here in the UK, get your money across that way. As opposed to going to change like £3,000, £4,000. Cash in your hand is not proof of income. So this is a cashless society. It always shocks people. We put out videos about this as well, how little cash is accepted here. So if you wanted to pay 4 months of rent, you had £4,000, you walk in the estate agent with £4,000, they probably won't take it off you. You will have to find a friend who can pay it into their account and transfer it to your new account, which you open. So don't get in that panic of, let me quickly go to Bureau de Change, let me change such big amounts of money and be coming with big amounts of cash. It's not Nigeria. Cash doesn't really do much here. You'll just be holding this big amount. You know the tension. Me, if I have 5,000 in cash, I won't be able to sleep well at night. Or if I walk through the train station, I say, I left my money in one hotel. Before one cleaner will go and raid my money, or you're carrying the cash around with you go lose it. Please, let's avoid stories that touch, A wise, very, very wise way to go about it is not to come with a lot of cash. Change about 500, 1,000 pounds, what you need for immediate spending. In terms of what you're going to use to pay your rent, it's a big amount. So I wouldn't advise you to change that now. Change it when you are here already. You understand? There's so many services here. Like I said, we do that service. There's other companies as well that can help you change money from Nigeria. And yes, you can certainly. So it's an easier way. It's definitely easier way to go about it. Don't bring a whole load of cash. You will find trouble paying it into accounts. People who live here as well, who can help you pay that in, they will be quite reluctant to take that cash from you because everybody in this country, due to money laundering regulations, there's a limit of cash you can pay into your account every month, every year. It's about £25,000 if it's a personal account, and it's higher for business accounts. So, I've seen people come in with their school fees. They paid half of their school fees. They got 10,000 for school fees. They got 15,000 for this. And you're asking your relative to go pay that into his account, it will flag up his account or his or her account. You see what I mean? And it will seem like, is this person a drug dealer or are they terrorists? Or, they look at totally different things. Another thing in the UK now, let's say you have an account. I cannot go into the bank and pay money into your account. I have to pay first into my own account and then transfer it to you. That creates a money trail. They always have to see where cash is coming from. They always have to know where cash is coming from. So yes, that's something you need to consider in your planning. Please, if you cannot hear me clearly on Instagram, or if you are not able to send your message across, we're transmitting on Facebook as well. It's the same page name. It's Softlandings.co.uk. I'll be able to see your comments much easier and reply. So I got a comment on YouTube. Thank you, Nosa Devu. Thank you for Devu. Nosa Devu. Thank you for joining. How likely is it to get an apartment in the UK while one is still in Nigeria? So yeah, we got your comment up there on YouTube. So how likely is it to get an apartment in the UK while one is still in Nigeria? So it just depends on what parts of the UK you are coming to. So the UK, I mean, a lot of us know this, but just for educational purposes, is comprised of 4 countries. So the UK actually is 4 countries in one. You've got England, which is London, which everyone knows. You've got Scotland, you've got Northern Ireland, and you've got Wales, which is Cardiff, Swansea, where a lot of students are heading to. So it's 4 countries in one. There is a regulation in England called right to rent. You have to fill in your right to rent before you can get an apartment in England. So if you're coming to England, it's usually quite difficult for us to get an apartment for you before you arrive. I would not lie to you. If you are coming to England, you are very likely to need Airbnb when you arrive, or temporary accommodation. We can sort you a permanent place within 10 days to 2 weeks of your arrival. So if you're going to any other part of the UK, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, rent to right does not apply. Right to rent does not apply, I beg your pardon. So you can always, sort of get it done in advance. So I hope that answers your question. And I hope that is useful for people who are coming. If you are coming to England, it's very unlikely we can get it before you come. You're going to have to come. So this is a very important step to factor into your planning as well. Make sure you have enough funds for your temporary accommodation coming to England, because we won't be able to get it for you before arrival. If it's Scotland, if it's Wales, if it's Northern Ireland, then yes. Now, another thing as well is, even in these other countries where right to rent is not required and you can possibly get it ahead, what tends to happen is the estate agent or the landlord of the place, they would like to meet you before giving the place. That's the thing. So, imagine yourself, you are in Nigeria and you have a house to rent. How likely are you to rent it to somebody you've never seen before? You don't know any information about them. You don't know you see what I mean? Landlords like to have that rapport with you. They like to know you, know who this individual is. So for convenience, it's great. Another thing people don't factor in is if you don't see the place before you come, you just see some pictures online, it doesn't tell you the real story. I had a couple who came a few weeks ago. We sorted a place for them. Even one of the couple was here. The husband was still in Nigeria and the wife was here already. She went to look at the place, but she didn't even take note of the transport in the area, how easy it was to get around. And when they came around now, they discovered that place, you need a car to live there. You can't even do public transportation. So I know a lot of us, we want to get it sorted beforehand. We want it ready. We also help in those circumstances. We can help you get it beforehand, but it's quite advisable to see the place you are renting. So as part of your planning, please budget for Airbnb. It's quite important that you do see the place you rent. Remember, you are signing a 12-month contract. So, whatever you sign now, you are kind of tied to this agreement for the next 1 year. So imagine you've rented a place from Nigeria and then you come, you don't like the place, it looks dirty. We cannot see all of those for you. It will just be done on virtual viewing, because we help people all across the UK. So the likelihood of us being in that area where you're going, unless it's London or somewhere where we have agents, it's something else. So I'm just going to take one quick question from Instagram. Someone said how much to budget for Airbnb in England. Now, sorry, I missed your name, but you can send me another message and I should be able to see that. But yes, I would say anywhere, it depends on the size of the house. It's not a question that is fixed. It depends on the size of the house, what area you are looking. If you're looking in central London, it's different from looking somewhere up north. So that's it. Hopefully you can come back with more. Tracy Onyi on Instagram, I'll take that question as well. Which city is close to London that you can stay? Now, there's this idea that all the cities around London are cheap and you can stay there. The problem is everybody is coming at the same time. So the same way you are thinking is how others are thinking. London is quite big as well. You can be in the north outside London, Milton Keynes, Luton. You can be towards the south end from Dartford outwards that way, Kent, Essex, anywhere in Kent, Essex. So if you want to do some research about it, look at towns in Kent, Essex, look at Milton Keynes. These are the surrounding areas around London. So that might help you in your planning. I'm just going to move back to, yes, we have a question on YouTube. So Olatunji Adedeji, thank you so much for joining. Yes, and if you are on Instagram and you've got a pressing question, please try and join us on Facebook, on WhatsApp. It will be much easier for me to see your comment because they scroll by so fast and I don't have a lot of control on Instagram. So yeah, but I'll still take your questions, not to worry. But if I miss you, please just send the question again. Olatunji Adedeji, you say, how long does it take to get a two-bedroom house in Leeds, York, or Hull, and what's the average rent in those locations? So the area you're looking in Leeds, I'd say you need to budget somewhere between 1,200 to about 1,500. That's what you'll be looking at for a two-bedroom. York is slightly cheaper. Hull might be a little bit cheaper, but it's about 100, 200 pounds easier either side of that. You won't get a two-bedroom anything less than about £1,000. So to somewhere to the 1,004 range, 1,005 in those other two cities. Hull is one of the cities where we're advising people to get in contact early It's quite congested. We've had people waiting for quite a while. Money Glory. Yeah, so I hope that answers you, Olatunji. Money Glory on Instagram. How much should I budget for Airbnb in England? It's still the same answer I gave you as before. There's a lot of places in England, so you need to be specific in terms of which city. London is in England and York is in England. It's like comparing Lagos and Port Harcourt. They're in the same country, but they are miles apart. So I need to know a bit more information. Money Glory. I hope you come back with an exact city, and I should be able to help. Olatunji Adedeji, I hope I've answered you on YouTube. Yep. Okay, so we got something on Facebook. Okay, sorry, that's my friend. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, thank you so much. So those are a few questions we've had come in. If you've got any more questions, please put them through. I'm going to talk a bit about guarantors now. I mean, if you've been following us for a while, this is one we come to quite regularly. What is a guarantor? A guarantor is plainly put, is someone putting themselves, signing on your behalf, putting themselves on the line, that if at the end of 30 days or whatever period of rent you paid, you cannot afford your rent payment, they will pay the rent on your behalf. So that's what a guarantor is. So yes, we provide a guarantor service. If you've got a family member here, certainly reach out to them. To be a guarantor, most times you need to be a homeowner. Sometimes you don't need to be a homeowner, but you need to earn a certain level of income. So it's always about 3 times the price of the house. If you want a house that is £1,000 a month, that's 12,000 a year. Your guarantor should be earning a minimum of 36,000 pounds a year to be able to sign to be your guarantor. So it's 3 times the annual rent. On Instagram, Money Glory, Airbnb, up north England, you still need to tell me the city. It's still quite hard. I would budget 300 to 500 a week, just off the top of my head. I've got Temi Okuns. I missed your comment there. You're going to have to send that one again. Okay, so you said Durham. Money Glory, you've come back with Durham, so that's good. We need specifics. Otherwise, I'm just throwing out figures that don't really mean anything. So Durham is quite a cheap area. You can get a 2-bedroom anywhere in the range of £1,000. So Money Glory. Sorry, I didn't say Money Glory. I do apologize. It's somewhere between 1,000, to about 1,500, depending. It's sort of the range of north. So Manchester, North, all the surrounding cities are a similar range. You'll be looking at that for a 2-bedroom. Hornsey Chuck Pops. Can a family of 5 rent a 2-bedroom apartment in Essex? I'm sorry to disappoint you. It depends on, because when you say a family of 5, 2 of you are the parents and you've got 3 kids. Now, it might be possible to squeeze in a 2-bedroom. It depends on the makeup of your family. We've touched on this before. It depends on how many boys, how many girls you have, their ages as well. Children above 10 tend to have their own room. If they are below 10, boys can share together, girls can share together. They can also share, mixed in between that. But after 10 years old, each sex has to have, each gender, they have to have separate rooms. So they don't want young boys, young girls changing when they're at the age of puberty. As soon as that awareness is there, this is what they're thinking of. It's not a factor we consider in Nigeria quite a lot, but considering how things work here, once your kids are about 10 years old, they like them to have their own room. So I've got someone on YouTube. What are your thoughts on XRP? Is that the cryptocurrency? That's a funny question. Please come back with a bit more information. This is not a crypto channel, but definitely I'm not big on crypto, to be honest. It feels like a bit of a scam, but you can change crypto to pounds, and if that's where your question is coming from, I'm not too sure if that's what you mean, the thoughts on XRP, but that sounds like a cryptocurrency. Temi Okun's Properties. How much is a 2-bedroom in Sheffield? Thank you so much for joining. I realize I missed your message before. Please, if I do miss your message, just send it again, and I will definitely get back to you, try and answer them. Just on Instagram, it goes through so fast. So you're after a 2-bedroom. Let's see. So Sheffield is not a very expensive area. You can get anything between about £600-700 up to £900, £1,000. The very exclusive apartments are 1,200. So if I'd go mid-range, I would say something between 900 and 1,000. You know, if you're lucky, you can get something 700-800. But I think to be on the safe side, budget about 900. Tell me your comments. I hope that answers your question. If you have any follow-ups, please send them. Monye Glory, thank you for joining. I hope we managed to help some of your planning. So yes, I've got a good question there on Instagram. Wana9339, thank you for joining. Why do they request 3 months upfront despite having a guarantor? Okay, so I'll try and explain this as well. When you rent a house in the UK, there's checks that are called referencing checks that have to be done. Referencing checks. Now, these checks consist of 4 parts. You know, there's a credit check to make sure you don't have any debt. You've not done anything like owed before. They check with your previous landlord as well. To see you've been a good tenant, which a lot of people from Nigeria cannot provide. So that's one of the things your guarantor is covering for you. Is saying, I'm signing to say this person is up to on board, and you know, sort of they won't mess about. Affordability checks. Now that's the one that answers your question. So you know, it's saying, is it affordable for you? Now, when we go to rent a place in Nigeria, you turn up to the estate agent. You tell them, I want 2 bedroom. They look for a place for you. Nobody checks whether it's affordable for you. Nobody checks whether if we give you this house, maybe your salary is 100,000 a month, and we are giving you a house where, if we break it down, you know, 80,000 of your salary is going to be going for house rent. They don't do things like that here. So I explained about a guarantor earlier. Your guarantor has to earn 3 times the rent, and that's the same for you as the renter. Even though they cannot prove it now, you have to show that you can afford 3 times the rent. So if your rent is 800, you have to be earning 2,004 a month. Now, when you just come from Nigeria, you don't have a job. You cannot show affordability. But what you can show is, I can give you 3 months. That gives me time to find a job. And then once I get a job, so still the affordability check is not done. That's why you need the guarantor as well, because they don't know if it's affordable for you. You may pay 3 months upfront now, and the job you get is part-time. That pays you £600 a month, and your rent is £800 a month. So it's still not affordable for you. There's still a chance you might miss a rent payment. So that's why they insist on that. Please, if you can, send us messages through on Facebook. We're broadcasting on Facebook. We're broadcasting on YouTube as well. If you send a message on Instagram, please send it again, and hopefully I can get to them. Honey's Choco Pops, couple and 3 girls, 8 years below. How much for 2 bedroom in Terrace, Essex? So yes, you were about the family of 5. So 8 and below, and there are 3 girls. Now, that's a very good situation because, you know, you can sort of manage a 2 bedroom if they are all below 8. The problem you're going to have is UK houses are not built like Nigerian houses. Space is a premium here. Spaces are very, very small. So when you are talking 2 bedroom house, it sounds like 2 big bedrooms. No, one will be a master bedroom, which is for you and your partner. The other room may be a single room that can only take a single bed. So the best case in that situation, even if it was a double room, is you will get a bunk bed where, you know, they can stay on a bunk and then one other one, or you can get a big bed where they can all share. But, you know, I would aim for a 3 bedroom. Even with 3 girls, I think it will be a bit of a squeeze. Unless you don't admit to the landlord you have 3 kids. If you tell them you have 2, they might let it pass. Once you have 3, they will kind of insist that you have a 3 bedroom. they are also concerned of the welfare of your children here. So when you rent a house, it might seem like the estate agents are being difficult. They don't want to work with you. You will hear people saying, I had to not tell them how many children. It's because they are concerned for children's welfare. They need space to move around. The landlord is also worried that if you put so many children in a tiny space, they're going to damage the walls. They will be hitting walls, doing this, writing, because children need place, they need activities. When it's cold in the winter, they can't always go outside to play. So there's factors that don't happen to us in Nigeria. Children can be outside all day in Nigeria playing everywhere. Here, you are in your room. You know what I mean? So when the space is tight, it's a worry, it's a concern that they can cause damage. So yes, thank you so much for that. If you have any questions, kindly send them. If I've missed your question on Instagram, we're transmitting on YouTube as well. Just go in the link in our bio. On the bio, there's a link there and you will see the YouTube page, so you can follow us there. I've got a question on YouTube. Thank you, Abim Bola Kasumu. Thank you so much for joining. Can a single mother of one, i.e. just the mom and daughter, stay in a room and parlor? I certainly would think so. How old is your daughter? That would be the thing. So with the, even though it's just yourself and the child, by UK standards, they will expect you to have 2 bedrooms. So one for you, one for your child. Now, if your child is under 4, like a toddler, an infant, a baby, 1 bedroom, no question. You've got that little kid there. You can put your crib in the house. But if you're talking of a 10-year-old girl or a 12-year-old daughter, yes, like I said earlier, any kids around above 10, they kind of expect them to have their own room because they're coming into their own as young people. They're getting to that age of puberty. They need some privacy, even from their parents. I know what it's like in Nigeria. Your parents will help you out to whatever age, but here, these things are really important. So once you're approaching the age of 10, they expect kids to have their own room. So yeah, I hope that helps, Abimbola Kasumo. If you've got a follow-up on that, please let me know and we can talk more on that. You can also send us a message, tell us a bit more, the age of your child, where you will be going to, and then we can help a bit better. So I've got another question on YouTube from Daniel Gift. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate you. You said, how much is a room in Birmingham? And can a family of 3 live in a room? So the father, mom, and 1-year baby. So I'm going to assume you are talking of a 1-bedroom flat. I think one thing that tends to happen is the terms get mixed up. Also, like I said last weekend, when you come to England, don't say parlor. Nobody knows what you are talking about. When you say room and parlor, they don't use the word parlor. So, what we call a mini flat over there is like 1 bedroom here. What we call a self-contained is what they will call a studio flat. So it's important you start knowing the right terms that they use here. But yes, just to answer your question, Daniel, how much is a room in Birmingham? I'm not sure if you are talking of a room in a shared apartment or if you are talking of a 1-bedroom flat. So if you say 1-bedroom flat, you are fine. So you have your, room and living room. Yes, if you have a room and a living room, but you said how much is a room? So we also have people that share houses that rent one room in a house. So it will be a 3-bedroom house. You get 1 room. A different person rents the other room. A different person rents the 3rd room. They're called houses of multiple occupation, shared properties. It's very common here to share bedroom and kitchen with people. So if it's that kind of room you are talking about, no. They usually very rarely take couples, and they would definitely never take you with a baby. But if you're talking of a 1-bedroom flat, I'll check the prices for you. Manchester, you'll be looking somewhere between 800 to 1,000 pounds a month for a 1-bedroom at the very most. I'm just going to confirm for you what we can see, because these prices, the market here is different from Nigeria. The supply and demand is very prevalent, and you can see in effect houses we were looking at last year that were much lower in price have suddenly shot up. prices in Manchester are almost coming up to prices in London now. So I've been telling people this as well for the last few weeks, that a lot of your travel agents there will encourage you when you apply to schools. They don't go to London, don't go to London, go to Manchester, go to this. That used to be fine before, but now, to be honest, the difference is not that much because so many people are coming. The landlords are seeing the demand. You know, it's like a landlord will put the property on the market today. We will call up and they will say 20 people have already booked to view this house. They're not taking any more viewings. So that as well is an issue that is happening now. Because of the increased demand, supply is low, prices are jumping up. So just to answer your question, somebody asked for Manchester for a 1-bedroom on YouTube, and yes, the maximum you will pay will be about 1,100, and you should aim between 850 to 900. So that's for Daniel Gift. I hope that answers your question. Honey Cocoa Pops, 3-bedroom terrace in Torok. That's on Instagram. We'll have a quick look for you. Sorry if I have missed you on Instagram. You can either just join the stream on YouTube. I don't miss the YouTube messages, or you can send your message again. Yes, you can just certainly send it again if I've missed it. And yes, please don't send the messages in the message section. I can't see them. Send them in the comments. If I've missed it in the comments, join us on Facebook, join us on YouTube. It's the link is in our bio there. So you just go on the bio link and it'll take you straight to our YouTube, or search on YouTube for Softlandings UK. Okay, so you wanted a 3-bedroom in Torok. Yes, 3-bedroom in Torok. So let's just see what that's coming up. Torok is Essex, Grays. So it's kind of on the outskirts of London. You'll be looking anywhere between 1,400 to about 1,700. There are a few for 1.3, but I would go for 1.5. So that person who wanted in Torok, Essex, please, the mid-range is about 1,005. You know, so that's a good figure to go with. Nikki Cool, thank you so much for joining on Instagram. 2-bed terrace in Manchester. You are very specific in terrace. I think I had a customer last week who we showed a place and they rejected it for 1 or 2 reasons. If people have told you certainly don't go for this kind of house, don't go. Honestly, the way the housing market is now, don't get too strung up that I don't want flat, I want a terrace, I don't want this. There is too much demand in the system. Honestly, you may not get what you want. So don't be stuck on one thing. You have to be open to whatever just to get a roof over your head, because if you're coming with a family, obviously you don't want to be in temporary accommodation. But I will have a look at you for you. There may not even be terraced houses there, so that's something I think you have to bear in mind. 2-bed terrace, you said. So let's have a quick gander for you. So you're looking anywhere up to 1,500. So between 900 to 1.5. Manchester is a very big city. There's areas that are deprived, not too good, they don't look too great. And there's areas that are more closer to the center that are more expensive. So it just depends on the part of Manchester. But for a terrace house, you'll be looking between about 1,000 to 1,400 in Manchester for a 2-bed terrace. That's what's coming up now. So I hope that helps. And like I said, don't get too stuck on particular things. If you can get a 2-bedroom flat, a 2-bedroom terrace, a 2-bedroom, just, snap it up. There's very few properties on the market right now. So I'm just going to go back to YouTube quickly. We've got Abimbola Kasumo, and you've come back, age 5, please. So this was the question about, can a single mother of 1 just stay in a room and parlor? So that's a 1-bedroom flat. Yes, you should be able to get a 1-bedroom because she's quite young. So, that should be fine. I mean, most 5-year-olds, they don't even want to stay in their room yet. They still want to snuggle up to mom. So, that should be fine. So I hope that helps. If you have a follow-up question on that one, send it through as well. But you should be fine. Anything under 10 years old, if it's just one parent, you should be able to squeeze it in. Another thing you can do is just not even tell the landlord, just say you're moving in there with one other person. So that should be fine in reality. So if you have any more questions, please send them through. We're going to talk about a few more issues. If you can, please join us on YouTube. It's so much easier to see your comments and your questions. So a few of the other topics is we'll talk about rent budgets and bills. This is one I like to speak to about to people quite regularly and remind them while you are doing your budgeting, make sure you are thinking of the bills you will pay. We put out a short video last week, and I think someone came in the comments and was arguing about students don't have to pay council tax. I would clarify a bit more on that. I said it last week. If you are a student and you're living with another student or 10 students and you are in one house and all of you are students above 18, council tax is free. The minute you live with somebody who is not a student, so like, which is the common thing, we are coming with our partners, one of them is a student, the other one is trying to work. That is what is common. By law and by what is going on, you will have to pay council tax. It's not totally free. If you have one student above 18 in the house, you pay 75% council tax. If you have more than one student, that's when it becomes free. So let's make sure we know what the law is. And even if we're going to do something that's not 100% within the law, the only way to get around that sort of issue is not to declare your partner. So you will have to rent, only the students will have to be on the tenancy agreement. As soon as the partner's name is there, it becomes an issue because council tax is not charged on the property, it's charged on the people that live in there. So I hope that helps. Other bills you will have to pay: electricity, gas, 75% council tax if you're a student, water as well. Some of these bills can add up to £500 in a month. So don't get into a situation where you think, okay, the most I can afford is 1,500, and I want a house that comes with everything 1,500. It might not cover your bills. So then you are thinking of 1,800, 1,200 with bills on top. Bills are very important here. You can lose your house for not paying bills. Make sure it's something you are factoring in to your calculations. So I will take one more question on Instagram. Monye Glory, you've come back with another question. Are these prices for rents, bills inclusive? Is exactly what we are touching on now. I mean the 1,500. So no, your bills are not included. Any house where you are renting, the only people that get bills included in their rent is when you rent a room in a shared house. So if it's 3-bedroom house, 3 people are sharing, they have one room, that's for single people mostly, and you share a house. Then you don't pay bills because the landlord has calculated the bills in your rent before he gave you it will be hard. Imagine 3 different people. We're not even friends. We're just sharing a house. Before we will be coming together to say, oh, this is electric, let's share it, there's your hair. So that brings confusion, it brings wahala. You even see that in properties in Nigeria where people won't pay for those bills and that sort of thing. But they don't do it here. They include your bills in your rent if it's a room in a shared house. The minute you are renting a flat, 1-bedroom flat, 2-bedroom flat, 3-bedroom flat, house, whatever, you have the keys to your house and only your family stays in that house. Bills are not included. It's very important people get this right because it leads to confusion in budgeting. People don't budget enough for their bills. And then when they get here, they get in a problem where they can't pay the bills. So please make sure if you have a family, forget about bills included. It doesn't apply to you. That is for single people renting a room. You will never see a house where you have rented 2-bedroom and the landlord will be paying the bill for you. You have to think about it because why would the landlord pay your electric and your gas and all of that? Why would they do that? It's only for people, and this is why they do it, so that there is no confusion in the house. Maybe they have taken rent 300, then one person will say, I'm not paying electric. So they don't want that confusion because you are 3 different people. The landlord will include that, okay, let me add £100 on their rent. That will cover the bills. If you are getting your own flat, your own house for your family, only you have the key to that house, your bills will never be included in your rent. I get this question so much. I don't know how people have got it so wrong. Please, please, please budget well. If you see that the area you have asked us for, your rent is going to be like 1,200 or 1,400 a month, add extra 300 or 400 on top for bills. People are always shocked by how expensive bills are here. you have to turn on your heating. It's not Nigeria that you can choose to have AC or not. Heating is life here. In the winter, you can't stay with your family without turning on the heating. So you will pay bills. So please make sure you put in extra £300 or £400 on your budget. Honey's Cocoa Pops. These prices, are they furnished or not? 70% of the houses you will likely see are not furnished. If you are renting a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom flat, it's very unlikely it will be furnished. Sometimes they are furnished. It doesn't have a big impact on the price. If you are lucky, you will find one that is furnished in your price range. If you are not lucky, it will not be furnished. I said this last week again, don't get worried about furnishing. Furniture here is not like Nigeria. It's not a big concern. That's why most of them are sold unfurnished. The reason why they are unfurnished, number one, a lot of tenants come and they don't want the furnishings there. If the last tenant was a dirty person and they had bed bugs, you don't want to be sleeping on their bed or their chair. There's all these kind of other diseases that are not common in Nigeria that are here. Remember, this is a country where half of the year our windows and doors are locked. Bacteria is piling up on there. So a lot of people don't even want the old bed that is there. That's why the landlords don't keep it. So if you are looking for a house and they say, oh, it's not furnished, or you now say, I don't want that one because it's not furnished. I'm looking for furnished. Furniture, let me tell you, you will always have fridge in your house. You will always have cooker. You will always have washing machine. And those are the expensive ones to buy because a fridge, cooker, washing machine can add up to £1,000 easily or more. Those they will always put in. What they will not give you sometimes is your bed, your wardrobe, and sofa. Now, if you don't have a lot of money and you just want to manage for the first few months when you are here, you can go and get a second-hand sofa. There are second-hand shops all over here. You can get a sofa for £100. You can get a new sofa for £299, less than 300. They advertise it every day on the telly. So, the money you will use to furnish the house will not be up to 1 month's rent. You can get beds for £100, £150. You can get wardrobes for £60, £70, £100. Furniture is not like Nigeria that you buy one settee, it's 1.5 million, 2 million, no. Furniture is quite cheap here. There are many options. Most furniture here, they will bring it in carton. It's you that will arrange it yourself. It's not the case that one big truck will come and deliver the thing for you. Only sofas come together. The bed, the wardrobe, you will have to connect it yourself. So there's a bit of DIY there. So I think hopefully that answers that person about furniture on Instagram. We're just going to look at YouTube quickly. Daniel, thank you for still staying with us. You said how much is a minimum paid job in the UK? So the minimum amount of pay in the UK now is about £10 an hour. There's still people paying about £9. It depends on what part of the UK as well. In London, pay is higher. So a lot of people, they run away from London. They go to these other places. Job opportunities are less and the pay is generally less. In London, there's something called London waiting. You get paid a little bit more than other people in the country to acknowledge the fact that the cost of living in London is quite expensive. So, people sometimes over worry about that factor. When you come, you're going to be like everybody else that's here already. Don't get pushed. I did see a lot of people going to these villages and small towns that, it's going to be cheap there. It's going to be cheap there, but will you get a job there? That's the place you will be. You'll be looking for a job for 4 months. You haven't got a job because those places are not built to take a large amount of people at once. There's only limited amount of factories there or work available. So aim for the bigger cities. Remember, you have spent a lot of money to come here. If you are still in the stage of choosing which university do I go to or which area do I go to, listen, it's always better to go to a bigger city. There's more opportunities. You are more likely to run into people from your community, like fellow Nigerians that can help you out, that can accommodate you, that can guide you. It's very strange. I see people going to these very funny places that nobody used to go to back in the day, and rated. I know it's great. You're in the UK, but if you're in the UK for 4 months with no job, it's different from someone who is in the UK and gets a job in 2 weeks. Please, if you are still at the stage of making your decision, if you have the opportunity to go to London, Manchester, any of the big cities, Birmingham, please take those. Don't go to very obscure places. The Swansea, this. I know the schools are taking a lot of people. Jobs are hard there. Even accommodation, everything is really hard there. So, if you're going this smaller place, you get ready for a more longer battle. You might not be paying a lot of rent, but you're going to be out of work for a longer amount of time. Okay, so Kiki Boy on Instagram, is Leeds a big city where there's immense opportunities? Leeds is good, and I can see Nabob official also asking about Leeds. Leeds is a good one. Leeds is quite a big city. It's an industrial place. It's got history with the Industrial Revolution. Leeds, there's a lot of factories. There's a lot of manufacturers. They have their setup there, and they supply the rest of the UK. So Leeds is not a small place. Leeds is quite good, and the surrounding towns as well is quite easy to get around. It's one of the bigger towns in the north. So if you guys are going to Leeds, that's a good one. You are in Leeds, Nabob. I think you have contacted me about jobs, if I'm correct, Nabob official. I'm not too sure if you're the one or someone called Nasboy. But yeah, if you are finding it difficult to get work there, there's things you can do to improve your chances. Okay, so KK Miriam, thank you for joining on Instagram. What about Scotland, Glasgow? Scotland and Glasgow are big cities. Glasgow is a big city in Scotland. It's one of the biggest. So, and Adriel is asking about Glasgow as well. I mean, Scotland as a whole, just prepare yourself. You're going to the coldest part of the UK. It's literally the coldest part. Half of the year, more than half of the year is bad weather. Summer only touches them for about 2 months. Yeah, so it's a big city. It's just the same thing. It's what opportunities are there, and would they give the jobs to you? You have to remember there are some places where, there's a lot of bias. They're not used to Black people as much. So it's not the same. Now, Bob, you say you've been here since January. I do apologize. You did speak to us earlier, I can recall. Yeah, if you want help with our employment services, I think I listed those out to you. And we have an employment expert who can help with some of those things. So, yes. Ogo eBay, thank you for joining. Please, I need a healthcare job in London. How do I go about it? When you say healthcare, is this care sector? I think we are already looking for a property for you. If I'm remembering rightly, we're already helping you with your property search. I mean, if you have experience with the care sector, I would say put your head on care sector. But then there's a lot of people that have been told in Nigeria that, once you get a job in care, you'll be making so and so money, blah, blah, blah. Listen, open your mind. Once you are here, you are here. Look at, look in the customer service, retail sector, security. Open yourself to everything. Don't just come with that one mind approach to say you want care job, If you say yes. So you do have history in care. You're studying biomedical science, actually. Okay, that's good. I think if you are in that field already, I would say look at apprenticeships. They don't pay a lot, but it's like starting at the ground level in the company and you can work your way up. Biomedical is quite a good one because a lot of pharmaceutical companies tend to be recruiting. They have apprenticeship programs and that sort of thing. Please speak to me a bit later about this and we can put you through to someone that can help with that. It depends on how far you are with your studies, what qualifications you had from Nigeria. But I'm sure you can certainly find something in that sector. Being there alone is an asset. So you don't seem to be in a bad position. You are looking mainly at business analysis in healthcare. Okay. That throws another sort of that has turned it on his head because biomedical and business analysis are. If you are a business analyst, don't limit yourself to healthcare. But you say you are studying biomedical science, so yeah, you have to be very clear on what you want to do and give yourself the best opportunity. If you go for a very niche thing that not a lot of people are recruiting, not a lot of people are doing, you may struggle because, how many business analysis do they need in that sector? Not a lot. And then they might just get someone who is not even studying biomedical to be the analysis. It doesn't really need that part. So don't be careful not to box yourself into a corner where it's very hard to find something. I don't understand the reasoning there. If you are a business analyst, look for business analyst jobs. If you are in biomedical and that's what you're studying, look for biomedical jobs. That's what my advice would be, because if you make it too stringent, you might find it hard to actually get to where you want to be. But like I said, we're already looking for a property for you. If you need to send me a message in detail, oops, sorry, please do that. I just shook my camera on YouTube. Okay, so if there's any other comments on YouTube, on Facebook, kindly send them across. We're going to touch on a few more topics. We're coming right up to the top of the hour. Any questions I've missed on Instagram, please send them again. They are going up quite quick, but hopefully we could catch them for you. So one thing we tend to advise people is like, why should I use you as an agent? Why, sometimes we tell people what it will cost, what we can deliver, and they are not impressed. Like, how will it take you 2 weeks to find a house for me? It's too long. I will come there myself. I'll do it by myself. I mean, God loves a trier. If you can do it yourself, like even if you need support or help, we'll always help you on that. But the truth is, it is not as easy as it seems. It's not just going to property viewings. It's not just as direct as that. First of all, you are in competition with quite a lot of people. There's short supply of properties here. You're competing against a lot of people. So you have to know how to make your bid stand out, what to be saying to the agents to get them to actually take you seriously. It's cultural differences as well. If you don't understand these differences and you're walking into agencies saying, it's 1,000, I want to pay 800, you want to haggle, they will just literally not even call you back. They don't have time for that. So we can negotiate these sort of things for you. We offer various services where we can either help you search, you can search yourself, send us something, say you like this, and we'll provide guarantors for you, we'll provide references for you. There's services we can do that are not available on the high street. So let's just put it as that. There's things we can do to really help you secure that place. We charge £400. That's our service charge to help people find a property. And I find a lot of people say, oh, wow, that's really expensive. And I totally understand it. You're changing Naira to pounds. But you have to understand, we pay staff here in pounds. Everybody coming from Nigeria is coming for a good life. Nobody here earns £10 a day. They don't earn £20 a day. And remember, we may be working on your case for up to 2 weeks. So averagely, people here earn 70, 80 pounds a day. This is someone searching for you, contacting the agencies for you, this sort of thing. So £400 is not a lot in the grand context of it. Once you are in here and settle down and working, these amounts will not seem as big as they are. It's very common when you come from Nigeria. When you buy £2 sandwich, you calculate, hey, £2, 910, 1,000 something naira for this small thing that I'm eating. Biscuits. I'm spending 3,000 naira on biscuits. You can't think like that. Once you are in the pound system, you are in the pound system. If you keep doing that comparison that, hey, this is what I'm spending, this is what it is, it will actually give you headaches. So that's why we're here. We're here to get you into the system fast. We're here to help you get a job quick. We're here to help you get a property faster. As opposed to you spending 3 or 4 weeks in a temporary place. We have people that have been in Airbnb. Someone contacted me just 2 days ago. He's been in a hotel paying £120 a night for 2 months. I mean, when you compare it, what we are asking for is not a lot. It's like 3 days of your hotel money. And then, we provide a service you can't get on the high street. We put out a video on WhatsApp, on Instagram a few days ago, and it was someone, a TikToker, talking about how it is harder to get accommodation in the UK than even the visa. The visa, once you have money, you have your proof of funds, you have all your documents, you submit it. God willing, fingers crossed, 3 weeks later, they tell you your visa is ready. Accommodation is not like that. It is a struggle. So there's a reason why we charge what we charge. It's not that we are just trying to extort Nigerians. We are here to help you. And yeah, contact us. And, thank you, Alexander, Emmanuel, my namesake. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate you. And yes, that's what we're here to do. Try and help people out. Try and give you value and things you can't get elsewhere. So if you do have anything you want to discuss in detail, kindly reach out to us. We are coming up to the 1 hour mark. And this is sort of if you have any more questions, please put them through now. If nothing else is coming through, I would like to appreciate you all for joining us. Please tell your friends, tell family about what we're doing. There's a lot of people coming that don't know. We hear so many sad stories. They've already been here 2 months before they find out about our service. And it's like, oh my God, we could have saved you thousands of pounds. And that sort of thing. So definitely, spread the word. It's, if we can help, we definitely will help. I thank you all for joining. And I'll see you next week with more information. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. And I hope you start your week with a blast and your travel journeys are successful. Travel safe, land softly. We're here for you. Thank you so much. Bye.